Hey everyone, it's Alex here. If you've ever stood on a dock with a pricey fish finder that either missed the bite or flooded you with data you never use, you know the hesitation that comes with buying another piece of tech for your boat. I'm not about to hype up specs I haven't lived with. I am here to walk through how the Garmin ECHOMAP UHD2 92sv with GT56 actually behaves on the water, what kind of angler or weekend cruiser gets real value from it, and where the money might be better spent if your needs are different. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most people ask is whether a 9-inch touchscreen Chartplotter with a bundled transducer is something they really need, or if it's just another gadget that sits on a mount and gathers dust. The answer really depends on three things: how often you head out, the type of water you navigate, and how much data you want at a glance versus in your pocket. If you're the sort who launches a boat every weekend, likes to chase structure on a lake, and already uses a smartphone for basic GPS, the UHD2 can tighten the feedback loop between what you see on the screen and what the fish are doing underneath. If you only get out a few times a year, you might find the same information with a more modest single-beam sonar for far less cash. Let's talk setup. The unit comes with a large 9-inch display that, on paper, sounds like a lot of screen real estate, but on the dock the brightness becomes the real metric. In direct sunlight, the touchscreen still reads clearly, no washed-out grays, and the icons stay responsive even with gloves on. Mounting the Chartplotter is straightforward. The included bracket bolts onto a standard slot and the whole thing sits at a comfortable eye level. The GT56 TM transducer clicks onto the transom with the magnetic base, and the whole rig can be unplugged in under 5 minutes. For a first-time user, the fact that you can wirelessly pair the unit to a force trolling motor means you can draw a route on the screen, send it to the motor, and then watch the motor follow the line without fiddling with a separate remote. It's a small workflow improvement, but after a few trips you'll notice you spend less time re-entering waypoints. In daily use, the biggest win is the combination of traditional, clear V, and side V scanning modes built into the GT56. Traditional sonar gives you the classic, easy-toried fish arches, while clear V adds a high-frequency detail that can separate baitfish from debris, useful if you're trolling a lake with a lot of surface clutter. Side V scanning, which sweeps sideways, lets you peek at what's hovering just off the bow. I've tried the 3 modes side by side while trolling a base pond, and the side view gave me an early heads-up on a school of shad that the forward sonar hadn't yet detected. That allowed me to adjust my bait depth a few seconds earlier, something that can translate to a tighter hook set on a busy day. One practical nuance that many owners overlook is the Wi-Fi data sharing. The ECHOMAP UHD2 can broadcast sonar and waypoint data to a phone or tablet using Garmin's Drive app. When my partner's kids asked to see what we were tracking, I could pull up a live sonar feed on their phone while we were still cruising. It's a neat way to keep the whole crew engaged, but it also means you need a decent mobile hotspot if you're out on a lake with poor cellular coverage. In places where the Wi-Fi signal is flaky, the unit falls back to its onboard storage, which is fine for navigation but limits the remote view experience. Now, onto the world map. The built-in worldwide Basemap includes Garmin Navionics Plus data, so you have shorelines, depth contours, and basic navigational aids without purchasing additional charts. For a U.S. inland fisherman, this level of detail is usually enough, but if you venture into more complex coastal waters you may quickly run into missing depth updates or less granular inlet information. The map is also editable. You can add custom waypoints, drop pins, and even upload GPX files from a computer. In my experience, that flexibility shines when you're planning a multi-day trip and need to stitch together landing points that aren't covered by the default chart. What about the downsides? The first is the learning curve. The touchscreen interface is clean, but there are multiple layers: chart, sonar, nav, settings, and diving into the menu without a quick reference can be a little overwhelming for someone used to a simple push-button depth finder. The device does have a quick start guide, yet I found myself pausing at least once per outing to look up which button swaps between clear V and side V. It's not a deal breaker, but you'll need to budget a bit of time to get comfortable. Second, the GT56 transducer, while versatile, is a single-frequency unit. If you routinely fish in deep offshore waters, the 200 kHz range can start to lose resolution beyond